Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Blue. Welcome to CastNauts. I'd like to start this episode off by saying that thank you to all the people who run the Awesomenauts Rumble scene. They were kind enough to provide me with an extensive list. No, seriously, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Of a bunch of match IDs from their tournaments, which is nice. So, thanks guys. So we're going to be looking at one of them today. I'm not sure how many I'll do, but you know what? You know what, guys? Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. So let's look at what this one today. This one is on a Gillian. I did have the teams up here of who were playing in this match. Of course, for some reason it starts 23 seconds in. In this match, it was Cute Men versus Team D. So we're going to let everybody drop in, and then we're going to check out what everyone's doing today. Well, I just get these up. You can drop anytime. One. And there we go. So on red team, we have, for Cute Men, we have Nikki currently playing Genji. We have Dave W playing Vinny. And we have Ubi, or Ubi, I'm not sure, one of them, playing Jimmy. On blue team, Team D, we have Dunarino playing Frog. We have Penny, currently being covered by Scoop, played by, I actually cannot tell who that is. Abdi? Yes, that's Abdi. I presume that's Abdi. Playing Penny. And we have Nebraska playing Scoop. So let's see what everyone starts off their build with. So Genji starting off with Wool Shawl and Plastic Prayer Bead. So he's going for a quite heavy AA build. A little bit of poke at the start just to try and get that lane advantage. That's going to be really useful against this Scoop, trying to bat him out of lane early. And a really nice team fight to start right now. Unfortunately, Jimmy getting slightly, body blocked inside the top lane hidden area with Scoop, which unfortunately didn't do wonders for him. Vinny starting off with Silence Dive. It's a good starting upgrade. It's going to help them initiate quite early on when there's not a lot of power going out of anybody in the game. Jimmy picking Danger Pins for a little bit of early poke and a little bit of early threat. Also going to help when it comes to pinning people. Scoop starting off with Banner Triple Scoop. It's an okay starting upgrade, but I'm not gonna say for certain that it was the right choice. I think maybe slowing might have been a bit better earlier, just so this frog could have an easier time capitalizing on initiations by said Scoop. Penny starting off a Herring Snack Badge. Makes sense, to be honest. Gets a little bit of sustain early, and not as punishing for going in on stuff like Vinny, stuff like Genji, stuff like Jimmy. It just helps Penny out a bit. Frog going off with a single stage of regen just to get that little bit of sustain early. Once again, regen in general really helps Frog out. Unfortunately though, Frog seems to be about to die, of which he did because he did accidentally get cocooned, unfortunately. But what are you gonna do? You get cocooned as a Frog and you dash in, and then y'all are getting cocooned. You might not have a great time, especially when you're fighting against a Vinny and a Jimmy, who have just such amazing burst out of the gate, especially Vinny. Frog picking up boots just to get a little bit more mobility, and possibly so he can jump straight up into the middle without having to use the bounce pad, which is going to be huge for stuff like Genji. Not being able to have to go up and immediately get cocooned, especially when Genji starts building into his cocoon. Maybe a bit of lifesteal, maybe a bit of moon nectar, anything along those lines that just makes it easier for Genji's team to capitalize on it, and of course just make Genji easier to capitalize on it due to damage and lifesteal coming out of it. Scoop maxing out Banner of Triple Scoop incredibly early. That first kill on Amy has really done wonders for him, as opposed to his second kill on Vinny. So that's gonna help him out huge, just right out of the gate. Max Banner or Triple Scoop, that's huge for him. Unfortunately, Genji going down there due to getting caught out of position. Let's actually just go back and rewatch this so I can make sure what happened here. Yeah, poking in a bit too far, sadly, did take the pulse, and then the Penny just got a bit too close for Genji to handle. It's unfortunate, but it's what happens. Maxing out damage on Genji's AA quite early. It's gonna help with his clear. It's gonna help with his poke, which is already really good due to Wool Shawl. It's just really good. Amy picking up lifesteal on a little bit of regen so he can survive these hard initiations that the Scoop and the Penny and the Frog are going to be able to actually pull off quite early, just due to how the knots are built. Frog is a great initiator early game. He has the dash, he has the invulnerability frames. It's just going to be good for him. As you can see there, that really helped out Frog right there. But unfortunately, Jimmy with the really nice dive, pushing Scoop back. I don't even know what happened to the Penny. I apologize for missing it. She also got pushed back and just barely clipped by the charge. And it's not looking good for old Frog here. He's trying to run away, but unfortunately, he did get away. Unfortunate for the Vinny, just barely passing by him without even realizing it until it was too late. Penny picking up bug jars a bit early. He's finding a Vinny, so it makes sense, to be honest, to deal a bit of damage early. Maybe try and shut him down early. Same with the Jimmy, but it does not look like that might be the case, as we can see, just Jimmy with a lot of sustain early. Vinny, on the other hand, he doesn't only have signs, but he is going back now, so we will see what he picks up to see what he's going to be doing about all the damage coming out. He's picking up. Now that's interesting. He's picking up back of goldfish quite early in the fight. How much solar does he have now? So does he even have the effect? Vinny, wow, Vinny has a lot. Oh wait, current solar. My bad. Hey, I know how to work this thing. He does have the effect currently. So that is going to be huge for him. That Bag of Goldfish is a very potent damage upgrade, and it's just going to be really useful, especially early game, especially against a Frog. Maybe shut him down before he really gets going. Now, Gilliam being a map that's really gank heavy, the center is going to be a huge area. So it's really a game about laning until you have the necessary power to deny, the middle lane. Being really oppressive early is going to be really useful for either team, which is going to be huge, especially with Jimmy being able to have so much presence in lane, just due to how his AA works with the AoE, due to charge being always at a constant risk, and of course just due to how much tank he already has quite early on in the game. Genji building attack speed early, really just maxing out his AA as fast as possible, just to get as much possible poke and harassment out of there. And of course, a lot of team fight damage is going to be happening quite a lot, especially with Vinny having really good initiation prowess. Amy maxing out her sustain with Nano Repair Bots and Medican is just going to be really useful for her regardless of situation. Getting the sustain early on Amy is essential, as it lets you really spiral off into an unkillable baby wrecking machine. Frog picking up Hammer Pants, it's not exactly the best item he can pick in this situation, mostly due to the fact that he's fighting two very aerial knots in the form of Vinny and Genji. Genji does move slightly faster if you kind of hover along the ground, not like, like tap jumping, but more so against just like, you get better mobility out of it if you kind of just like float around instead of, just kind of running. Mostly due to how momentum works with Genji. As far as I remember, I don't know if this has ever been changed, where Genji has a little bit of a run-up to him, where he has to kind of reach max speed before he can go into it. Penny going for the attack on Genji, but unfortunately just barely gets away due to the really nice body blocking from the Amy. Penny picking up Sentient Raw quite early. This is going to be really quintessential, especially against this Genji, who is just going to be dominating team fights with Cocoon. Cocoon is a really versatile tool. It really does wonders for you if your team can capitalize on it. As we saw earlier, Frog accidentally initiating in and then just getting cocooned, which led to his immediate death. He got out and then boom, he's done. So it's going to be really hard for this Frog to get anywhere if he dashes in. He's not really something he can initiate. He's going to be the cleanup assassin at this point in the game. Scoop picking up Twister Lance. If I had to guess, he might be going for a bit more of a supportive initiation build with his tank. So, in other words, setting it up for the Penny and the Frog to really get in there and do their job while Scoop takes the brunt of it. Now, I'm expecting at this point for Scoop maybe to build a bit more tank, but we'll see. I'm not entirely sure. As it looks though right now though, Red Team does have the superior team fight capability along with the superior push, but that can turn any time. As we just said there, Genji did get caught out of position. Let's go back and rewatch this. Genji sadly getting caught out of position, dashed through by the Frog, and then just getting cornered, sandwiched between Scoop and Frog. It's unfortunate, but it did happen. Amy building a bit more bulk. She's really going for this whole tank thing, it's gonna work out for her. She's being the oppressive force the team really needs, There's nothing really constant aside from Vinny occasionally going in. It's a really good comp Red Team got going on over here. They got the good initiation from Vinny. They got the very strong team fight from Genji, along with the shields. It's gonna be really useful for them to actually, win in team fights. They take a pulse. Well, if it doesn't hit Genji, they can still get the shield out. They can still get the cocoon out. And of course, Amy with a really with a really good AoE based heal, the really good sustain and AoE that Amy has on her. Genji picking up Lifesteal Cocoon. If anything, this is just so he can actually keep a bit of sustain up and, of course, lower the health of anything he cocoons in team fight. It's going to be really useful for Genji to get this. Just based on the fact that If anything, Frog has quite low base health. You know, he doesn't have pills yet. He's going for your mutant ninja worms. Excuse me, I did burp. He's going for mutant ninja worms. So he's not building any sustain. He's building more into a damaging build, which I think really this is a mistake for the Frog. If anything, you might want to consider getting, oh, what is it called? Can't touch this. The shield on NATO. You know, maybe even, I know it might not work exactly in this situation, but he might want to consider going for heal clocks. You know, the heal over time is going to be really useful. Unfortunately for the Penny, actually this might be a wipe for the blue team, and in fact it is. Red team picking up all the mistakes that blue team made in this initiation. Penny getting got out of position right away, fighting, trying to 2v1, while Scoop comes in to save her. It's just so slow. Scoop unfortunately getting taken down by the Vinny, who now has max damage and piggybanked in order to proc back a goldfish. So this Vinny is gonna be a real threat in team fights, as you can just saw with Scoop at almost like half health, just destroyed by the pound. And unfortunately for the Frog, he did take the full brunt of the danger pins, which lowered him enough to get taken out, which is a wipe for blue team. You know, red team get a free push now and probably take down this turret. Let's go back and see let's see what went wrong. We're gonna go back to about here. So Penny was upstairs fighting good old Genji then. Genji bails out. Penny stays in, and I think that's really her mistake. You know, she tries to stay in and outmaneuver them, but it just doesn't work. What she really should have done is run towards the jungle, maybe drop down, try to escape, and while her team followed suit while just playing in a more defensive manner. But no, she tries to stay in, she tries to outmaneuver them by going up to the top hidden area. Scoop goes in to try and save her and just gets destroyed by the Vinny Pounds. Meanwhile, Frog's in the back trying to catch up, and he just gets taken down by the Danger Pins charge. It was really a bad move by the Penny for her going into the first place. She should have tried to back off and let her team play more defensively. So this is just, possibly this turret's going down. If anything else, this turret is probably going down as well. They did just lose 2 turrets for this. Yes, top turret is going down. It's an unfortunate state of affairs, but they really shouldn't have gone in that situation. They should have, if anything, once Penny went down, they really should have backed off. Scoop trying to be the Avenger over here really did take them down, you know, the team member they needed, and then Frog just doesn't have the tank to it. Even in general, even with pills, even with heal dash, it's just not something he can do. Genji picking up second stage of life steal effect just to make it better, and spiritual cooking, which is gonna make his team huge. It's gonna make his team fight huge. It's gonna make the entire red team incredibly difficult to initiate in. Scoop over here trying to get a good bindings off for the team. He just got cocooned immediately. Scoop really needs to be hanging back a bit more. Hell, maybe even letting Penny take the front of the charge. Unfortunately for Frog, he needs to be considering pills at this point in the game, just due to how much damage this Vinny is being able to put out. Vinny taking the weakening effect in Banana just for even more team fight, and that's really what red team has going for them. They have the really powerful team fight potential. They have the good supporting power. They have the damage, and they have the oppressiveness that can harass them into a team fight for victory. Like the Jimmy can set up team fights quite effectively. Everyone on their team can set up team fights effectively, especially the Vinny and Jimmy. With Genji in the background, like, it's almost impossible to sufficiently engage upon them, you know, effectively. Jimmy now taking, you know, increased damage of Rattle, that's just going to make him even harder to go near. And I think that's game. You know, Frog trying to go in for a desperation play, Penny trying to go in for a desperation play, but I think it's over. Red team just spiraled off. So what happened to blue team? Well, they started off really strong. You know, they got quite the quite good harass early game with banner triple scoop, quite good sustain, inherent snack fires, and a little bit of Medican going on there. I think really what happened is this team fight up here. I'm gonna go back to it if I can find it. Yeah, the team fight on top really did just ruin them. You know, once Penny went down and then Scoop went down, Froggy was left to. I actually have no idea where this team fight is. I apologize. But once everything went down, actually no, it was a bit further, my bad. A bit behind. There we go. This team fight here really screwed him. Penny going back up, it was really a mistake on her part. She was probably dead anyway, to be fair. Like, she was dead anyway, though. That's the issue, because as you can see, Vinny getting his dash back, but that did set him, like, but her going back up and Vinny not using his dash on Penny to kill her over here or over here. Really just, it set up the Scoop for instant demise the second he came out of Invis. He came out, and I don't know why he came out of Invis in this situation. You know, he's in this situation, right? He comes up, he's just seen his teammate dead. His options are going for Genji at low health, going for Vinny at full health, or going for Jimmy at full health, with also all the sustain in the universe. You know, and what does he do? He throws his hammer up in the north, possibly aiming for Genji, but missing by a mile, more in the direction of Vinny over here, and he just gets the dash immediately. Frog comes up, and he tries to dash out of it, but I think that was a mistake. He really shouldn't have, he really didn't need to waste his dash in this situation. All he really needed to do was dash in this direction, or dash back down here, maybe try and get some creeps, but then he would have been blocked in from over here. So it was really just a bad team fight for blue team. You know, everyone was out of position for the most part. Frog coming up didn't help anything. Penny going back up here didn't help anything. It just set up the red team for their victory, which ultimately led to this turret going down and then them getting into the base, just being able to push it while blue team was spawning. Unfortunately, that was the state of affairs for blue team. You know, they were out of position and unfortunately didn't have the mid-game builds that they needed. You know, maybe Frog building a bit more sustained. Hammer Pants did not really make sense, I'll be honest. You know, these are very mobile knots, these are very aerial knots, especially these two up here. You know, Genji and Vinny, you know, they're very aerial knots. You know, they're going to be, it's odds are you're probably not going to hit them with Hammer Pants. Your most chance is hitting with Jimmy, and if you even do hit Jimmy, you know, he has all the sustain, and now he had pills by this point. So it wasn't really a great move for Frog to build Hammer Pants in this situation. Maybe building, if anything, he might have been able to get done with an AA-based build. That way he's not going to be relying on Tornado, or Dashnado, for all his damage output. You know, maybe taking Piranha cartridges, hell, even range, backing that up with a Hydro Splash, or a Smash. The AA attack speed upgrade. You know, backing that up, you know, it might have made a good difference. It would have made them more cautious to go in because Frog's cooldowns are now for defensive uses instead of offensive. Sure, you could still use dash for offensive purposes in an AA-based build, but I still think that it would have made Frog's life a hell of a lot easier if he didn't build dash for an offensive purpose, especially with Hammer Pants. Penny, on the other hand, started off quite well. Heron Snack Badge into Bug Jars. But then into Silence. Of course, Silence is great. You know, Silence is a wonderful upgrade. It just didn't do, well, no, it did do what the team needed to do. It wasn't enough for blue team needing to break red team. Red team just had too much fight potential going on in that circumstance for Silence Pulse to really break it. That was good. Yeah. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've learned a thing or two today, and, you know, if you have any replays, send them to the email below. I'm Blue, and this has been CastNauts.